I was training to do an Ironman. And so I was like in the gym 3 hours a day, every day of the week. And I kept getting these really bad cramps. And, you know, I knew something was wrong. So I got a referral to a doctor, and she came back like a week later and said, yeah, you definitely have tumors on your ovaries. I told who was my boyfriend at the time, and is now my husband. I only told him. He took me to the hospital, didn't tell my parents, went and had surgery, came home, and I don't even know how my parents found out, really, because they showed up at my door, like at my apartment 2 days later, and were like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, oh, I have ovarian cancer.
It's a great day, I'm feeling good. Oh, the possibilities of what I could do with the world at my fingertips. My imagination brings a smile up to my lips. Oh, fascinated, I'm moving fast. Oh, I'm optimistic as the days go past. Oh,
The last time we let loose was when we were 16. We thought we were such rebels because I told my parents I was going to her house, and she told my parents she told her mom that she was coming to my house, and her mom was going out of town for the weekend. So we took GO Transit from Georgetown to Toronto for the day, and we went to the ROM, and we thought we were being total rebels because we didn't tell anyone. And we rode on the TTC, and we went to Chinatown, and then we went back home to her house, had pizza, and went to bed. And we thought that was like the greatest thing ever.
We were such rebels.
We were such rebels.
Oh yeah.
I think one of the big things is really realizing, even when you're young, you're not invincible. I mean, death's always been a part of my life. I lost a lot of people when I was a child, including my dad got sick when I was 8, and he died when I was 18. I stopped really taking care of myself and made a lot of stupid choices, and really kind of went on a bit of a journey of self-destruction. When I was starting to come back out of that and really starting to value my life is when Amy got sick.
It really changed for me when it came back the second time. And not only was it back, but it was back in this, like now I have 2 tumors in my lungs and not just one, so it becomes more complicating. It feels like I'm not surviving, I'm just kind of floating along, like I'm not getting better, I'm hopefully not getting worse, but that I'm just kind of in the middle. Like when I think of it, I think of someone who is above that middle spot, you know, someone that, you know, someone's conquered cancer. Well, I haven't conquered cancer, obviously.
This is something that I can't tell her. Like when I feel scared and when I feel sad, I feel like I have to be strong for her, and that's hard. Yeah. She's got so much on her plate already that, you know, I don't want her to worry about me. You know, I'm fine.
It's definitely changed, like the relationships that I have with people. You know, before I was sort of like the mother hen out of my family, and now they don't see me as the person who controls everything anymore. Now I'm the one that has to be taken care of. So that's been really hard. And I know that they've held back a lot. They're trying to get better at it. But, I mean, if someone got sick or if something serious happened, like I would be the last person to find out. Whereas a few years ago, I was the first person to know about it.
Amy's the love of my life, and it's hard. Like watching her suffer is terrible. I wish I could do it for her.
Our biggest concern is our son. He's
He's a trooper.
He's a trooper. He's never one to complain. But you do get a sense that he gets forgotten. I think it's human nature. You tend to focus on directly on who is being affected, who is the sick person. But there's a whole, the close network is affected.
When I was finally diagnosed, then it was like surgery right away. And after the surgery, they were going to do chemo, and he kept doing blood work every day, and I was sick as a dog. Well, maybe not a dog, but I was really, really sick. And I couldn't get up, I couldn't move, and I thought, if I'm this sick, how am I going to do chemo? Because I can't even get out of bed. And finally, the doctor called me in, and it had to be something pretty bad if I wasn't going in for chemo, but I was going in for some sort of appointment. And he said, "You're pregnant." And I thought, like, this is the cruelest joke anyone could ever tell. He said, "No, I'm serious, you're pregnant." And I was already 4.5 months along. Like, I was pretty far along.
I'm walking home from school, we're having a conversation, and she's like, "So I'm gonna have a baby, or I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do about it, because I can't really go through treatment when I'm going when I'm pregnant, and what should I do?" And I'm sitting there, I nearly got hit by a car, because I was like, I stopped dead in the middle of a street, and I'm just like, and I was like, I can't talk to you about this right now, and I actually hung up the phone.
I went home, and his parents live near my parents. So we went out for a drive, and I made him drive me to like a park across a bridge that's near my parents' home, because I thought, okay, if I tell him and he freaks out and he leaves, it's not too far for me to walk home. And I told him, and immediately it was like, okay, well, I'm sick, we don't really know what to expect, so let's just get rid of it. So I called and made an appointment for an abortion.
Now all of a sudden there was a baby involved, and could she do chemo and radiation and all that stuff? And I called her back and I said, "I can't tell you what to do. I can't give you any answers, but I can tell you that if you were me, if I was you, if the situation was reversed and I knew that this was my only chance to have a kid, I'd put the risks in that. I'd have a kid and see what happens with the cancer."
My daughter's father-in-law had cancer when he was young.
He said, "I hated people coming to see me that had fear in their eyes." I mean, it's not easy because there is fear, but I guess somehow or other you can't let it show.
I think that's what we've been trying to do is I don't know if you call it upbeat, but just live life.
Yeah.
Just live it. And
it's almost as though you
and
try
be
and pretend
positive.
there's nothing wrong.
And so if you had one thing to say to John, what would you say to him?
"Oh, buddy, you're a trooper. Buddy."
Someone just wants to say goodnight.
Oh, are you heading out? All right.
Hey, sweetheart.
Are you thinking the naked mole rat?
Get more rest.
Love you. You have a good sleep, and guess who you're going to see tomorrow?
Try carrying her this way.
Well, first of all, Papa's going to come and get you, take you to school. You're going to go to Tim Hortons.
Right? Then Papa's going to pick you up at school again tomorrow.
And then you know what's happening?
What?
I'm going to hurry home, and I'll see you at our house. And then we'll go to dance. But first we have to play. And what are we going to play?
Barbie.
Okay, Barbies, and we're going to have a snack, and we're going to
Color.
color, and maybe we're going to paint.
Yeah, we paint.
And maybe we're going to read The Naked Mole Rats.
And the next day, I called back and said, I just can't do it. And I called John and told him I couldn't do it.
That was kind of like a turning point in my own messy life, because I realized that things could be taken away at any minute, you know, and all this time that I hadn't been worrying about, you know, what I did and how it affected me and how it affected other people, all of a sudden it started to seem more important. Everything is so fresh. I know that there's more to come, and I hope that I can handle it well.